Hi everyone, this is a pre-video just to show you 3 longer videos that I'm going to be bringing you over the next few days. I know I've been promising these videos, just one thing another. March has just been a horrendous month for me work-wise, but I'm going to just show you a little preview here of 3 products that I will just show in a little bit more detail on slightly longer individual demos. Right, the first one of which, and I hope I pronounce this right, this is the Graphics Art Masking Liquid Pump Marker, and I think it's called Molotov. It's spelt Molotow, but it's Molotov, I think. Now, when I first read about these, I thought, masking fluid in a pen, that's just going to get clogged up. I just don't believe that, it's going to do what it says. I was blown away. I've actually used it. This is the other products I'm going to be using very quickly. I'm not going to show you the full, well, not the full range, more of the range in longer videos. But I'll also, just on this one, because this is my little demo piece I've done, these are the Faber Castell Albrecht Durer watercolor marker pens that I've been telling you about as well. So this was a demo piece that I started. It's obviously, you'll recognise it's the Black Spaniel. Now, I did actually, this Molotov pen I was saying about, masking fluid pen, I've used it on here. This is on watercolour paper. So what we'll do is we'll approach this ear up here that I've left blank. I'm going to put down some of the Molotov marker just to mask off some little white spaces, even though there's no real white spaces on that, on that head, on that ear. Then we'll come in with our marker pens, add some water so you can see this beautiful, this was done really quickly. You can see down here, literally I just scribbled the pen down, add water and drag the colour out, and this is the effect that it gives. A really beautiful, quick, instant watercolour effect. You can come in over the top with pencils, pens, anything you like. The other product that I will be showing you briefly today, you can see little hints of it here. Now these are what Faber Castell introduced me to when I was demoing for them the other week. It's the Pitt artist pens, but these are white. There is one black one in here as well, but these are white. They are permanent Indian ink, and they are going to be perfect for creating those whiskers. White tips, come in 4 different sizes. There's a black, there's a chisel tip, a brush tip, and a 1.5mm rounded tip as well. So we will look at these briefly today as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is put down a little bit of this marker, this masking marker. All you do is shake it, pull off the nib, and we press the nib down. Let me just do that on a spare sheet of paper. So you just literally press the nib down to get it flowing. I'll just shake it a tiny bit more. And that is pretty much it. We are good to go to put this marker pen down there. Zoom in a tiny bit. So I'm just going to add it in a few little places, and what this will do is just preserve some of those highlights in there. I'm just going to put it down on the outer curve of the ear, a few places, and then we'll, as soon as that dries, we'll come in over the top with our marker pens. So I'm going to come in with my Albrecht Durer watercolour pens now, marker pens. Now, I don't have the full range here. I did get to try the full range out when I was demoing for them. I've got here 6, 12, about 16, 17 of the colours. There are 30 colours, I believe it was, in all. Now these marker pens, as I say, they are just pigmented inks. They're water soluble. The light fastness on them is really good. You can get a copy of the light fastness ratings. They have two ends. You get the big fat brush tip end, and then on the other end you've got like a just a normal felt tip. Now one little niggle that I have with this is, yep, it is, if you look closely, you can see that they have got a little label on there saying brush tip and felt tip on the other end. For me, I don't want to have to keep stopping and looking at what is on there. It would have been great if there was like a big bobble on one end and nothing on the other, and that way I'd be able to feel as I'm working, right, yeah, that's my big fat tip. Because the amount of times I pick them up and go, oh, I don't want that end, I want the fat end. So I have to, it just stops you and frustrates you a little bit when you're trying to get in mid-flow with your piece. But so what I've pulled out anyway, you can layer them as well, the same as you can with your pencils. They do differ when you add water. To me, I think they're given a more painterly effect when you add the water. And it is literally a case of scribbling them down, then just dragging the pigment out with the water. So if you put it in nice and thick in one place where you want it extra dark, and then none in an area where you just want a light coverage, you just drag where you've got lots of pigment out over that light area. I will show you. So the ones I've picked up here, I've got dark indigo, I've got a warm grey 4, and they don't do a kaput mortem, which is a bit annoying, but they've got India red. The dark sepia here is very close to the kaput mortem though, so that's forgiving. And then warm grey 3 is another one, and I use that for glazing over the top. Now I wish that they did an ivory. If they did like a cream or an ivory and you could glaze that over the top, that would be brilliant. It worked pretty much like a blender, so I am going to suggest that to them. So let's just come in here, and just for the sake of doing this little demo, I'm going to just literally scribble this down, down along this edge. I know in here it's super dark, and then I can just come into some of these shapes and fill them in. And because we've masked off, we're just coming over the top of some of this masking, because we're going to pull that masking off afterwards as well. So let's just get it in here. Create some of these shapes that will go in underneath the curls. I'll come in over the top with our dark indigo. And again, you'll treat it very much like your mixing palette. I'll show you some of the other colours that I've tried. I've also done quite a colourful piece as well. Started on a turtle. I haven't finished it, but you can just see. I think, to be honest, these are going to suit watercolourists quite well. They're going to be great for doing backgrounds, but for me personally, I think I might even attempt to do one of my own dogs using these, and it'd be great for doing underpaintings, especially of black fur, because like I said, you can come in over the top with your colour pencils. Now I'm going to come in here with some of the dark indigo. And again, there's a great range, so if you do floral work, there's a beautiful range. There's enough in the range, even though it's quite small. I don't know if they're going to bring out any more at any point, but there are enough colours in the range to pretty much cover all subjects. Okay, a little touch of blue in through here as well. So I don't cover the whole area. There's a touch of this dark sepia. And then I'm going to blend over the top. I've got a little touch of the Indian red, not very much, just some little touches there. And I'll blend over the top with this warm grey 3. Like I say, I'll probably put down more pigment there than I need, but it's just to give you an idea of how they work. And the fact that you can glaze, I think I've got the light flesh. Oh, but they call it beige red, so I've got one that looks a little bit like light flesh, but they call it beige red. A little touch of that through there as well. Okay, so add some water next. I've just got a watercolour brush here, so I'll load it up, and then it is simply a case of coming in and adding water, just pulling that pigment about. Just lift this up so you can see. So I'm just going to sweep in here. And that is pretty much it. It'll dry a lot lighter. So dampen my brush off a little bit. Just work some of that bottom pigment there. Remember, we've got that masking fluid down under here as well. And if you want to lift any off, again, you can just come in. If you feel you've got a little bit too much pigment down, just lift a little bit off with your tissue. I'm going to lift a little bit down off that top edge there. Okay, and that is pretty much it. So I'm going to let that dry. And in the meantime, I'll just move over to the other ear and show you how you can then go in over the top with your... No, I'll just wait. I'll wait for this to dry and I'll come back, remove that little bit of masking, and then we'll go in with the Pitt Artist pens, the white pens, just to show you how well they work over the top of that fur on that ear. I'll just left this a few minutes and this is now dried. As you can see, it's dried a little bit lighter. You can see those lovely little colours. See how quickly we put that down, to be honest. Now, I'll just show first of all, we'll rub off that Molotov masking pen. And it is quite, it's just as simple as that. Just literally go in, put it down quite thick. But that is how easy you can mask off. Ooh, the whole thing's on my table and everything's wobbling a bit there. Okay, so it is just a case of coming in and rubbing away all of the masking fluid. And so you could put this in finer, a lot finer if you wanted. So if you wanted to preserve any of your whites on your eyes, on the nose, anything like that, this, so it's by a company on here, just Graph X Art Masking Liquid Pump Marker, 2mm fine is the size. I'll look to see if they do any other sizes actually. Now I've tried it, I really like it, and I will order more. Yeah, great little product. And obviously that's quite a crude demonstration of it there. So what I'm going to just do is just come in and... I actually don't want these lines in here quite as much as this. So I suppose I could just come in with the markers again. Let me just grab the markers. I come in with that warm grey and we'll just soften back some of these highlights. We don't want them quite as big and obvious as that. That was just simply to demonstrate that masking fluid marker. Let's soften that back a little bit. Obviously this piece is not designed to be a masterpiece. Just come in as well, and I'll just soften the edges a little bit as well. Next we will crack open those Pitt pens. Now the Pitt pens, like I say, I got a little bit excited about them when I saw them. We're always, as pencil artists, looking for options to capture our white highlights, either by scoring in the paper prior to doing a portrait, if you're working on white paper, so we indent our lines to preserve them, whether it's using a sanded surface like Pastelmat, or well, it's not a true sanded surface, but a sanded surface, a rough surface that allows us to work dark to light, or whether it's using things like brush and pencils, titanium white, or now these beautiful pens. So they are known, you've got the Pitt Artist pen, that's the calligraphy pen. So let me just show you the end of that one. So that one is like a chisel tip, I call it C for chisel tip rather than calligraphy. But obviously, if you have got beautiful handwriting, which I have not, let's grab this, then I guess you would be able to write your name beautifully. So let's try it. So there, that's just, I don't know if you're supposed to shake these or not, you know. Let's have a look at the instructions. I haven't shook them before, because they are just ink, so I haven't actually shook them, but I guess with them being ink, you could just give them a quick shake up. So anyway, that is the chisel tip, or the calligraphy one. Then you get this, this is the brush tip. So again, these are maximum light fastness, they say on them. So this is on my Somerset velvet paper, which is quite absorbent as well. So things do tend to look a little bit grey on here. This is the bullet nib, 1.5mm bullet nib. So that brush tip, or pen brush, gives a softer effect, I think more suited for doing flicky fur, and then this bullet nib probably is best for doing finer lines. And then also in here you do get this permanent Pitt Artist pen, super fine, I guess the S is for. Does it say? No, it doesn't. That's what I guess the S is for. Now, you can combine this into your piece using this black superfine if you want. You could just come in and, say, just add some more of these lovely flicky fur to the curls on the outside edge. Again, come in here as well, just pop some more of your curls in. I do have a reference photo here that I'm sort of following loosely. And again, it is a lovely little fine tip to it, but that is not our main purpose with this pack. It just happens to come in the pack. So let's come in first of all. I'm going to put the chisel tip one away. Let's come in with our brush. Okay, so no, there's no point shaking it because I can't hear a little ball or anything in there, so I'm going to come up to these thicker chunks of fur up here and just use this as a highlighter up along this top edge. Like I say, it's not going to give you that super bright white, but but it is going to go on. If you put this on, I've got some pencil here as well, so I'm going to demonstrate it over the top of pencil. But it is working lovely. Just to create a lovely soft touch to the highlights. I'll come in with the bullet nib in a minute as well. In theory I should let this all dry a lot more in between the layers, because I know it is picking up a little bit of the marker pen. There. That's the brush. So let's try this, the bullet nib one. And this should give us a finer line. So I'm going to come over here to the muzzle area now. Let's just come in and we'll just pop in a few little whiskers there. Again, I want these just to soften back a little bit. That should give you a little idea of how fine. You see here where I've actually used it, up on these tips here. I know that I'm going to use these in my drawing work because I just think they're so quick. I like the effect that they give. It is instant. I've been taking these to workshops and people have just been using them to pop in extra little bit of highlight to their eyes, and it just lifts their work instantly. So I'm just coming in here, just literally scribbling with them really. That's coming over this side again. Might have tried this, it's tried a little bit more over here now. So just down around this outside, just to provide some highlights to the top of those curls. There. But so you can combine these with your Albrecht Durer pencils. You can bring in polychromos pencils as well. And let's say, so you wanted to just soften the edges, just come in with your pencils over the top. There's just so many ways of using these. So this is on watercolour paper. I need to try them out on Pastelmat as well. But hopefully that will just demonstrate to you a little bit how these work. Oh, I know what I was going to do, just literally just try them out over the top of Pastelmat. These white pens, that is. I've got a, here we go, I've got a working image of Mock-up. So let's just come in here to the fur. This fur down here needs a lot more work, but again, let's just come in here with that white bullet pen. I haven't tried it on here, so let's just see. Oh, this is the brush pen again. So yeah, it gives a lovely, quick effect for doing that white fur. And it's not too harsh, so you can blend it with your pencils. I think it's just right for fur, to be honest. I think when it's too white, you've got to go back in and try and cover it because it's unnaturally white. And here on the chin. Again, you can come in and add it for your highlights. those are the Faber Castell Albrecht Durer pens, marker pens, the Faber Castell Pitt artist pens in black and white, and also we threw in there that Molotov masking pump pen as well. And looks like I've got a bit carried away and unscrewed that one there. So that's just a quick informal demo of the 3 products. I want to try and do a couple of pieces where I use this one here, this masking fluid one, a lot more. I want to show you some of the other colours, just showing how I blended and mixed them on a couple of different papers. There we go. Oh, I've just dropped them all now. Good job, this is just for you guys. So again, here's some of the other colours here that I've got. But I wanted to just demo those onto a couple of other papers and just show you how they work. And also then I want to use this pen, these pens, white pens, more in my everyday work. But until I get onto a piece that I need to use them on, I can't do that. So, but I'm hoping that this little demo here at least demonstrates, you know, sort of some of the uses, and it might get you curious to ask questions of like, can I show it on something specific? So please do, you know, if you've got a request to see it on something specific, let me know and I can try and put that together. I'm just seeing down here, I've actually got more of that Molotov here because I'm going to blend the green across here for the grass and put the dog in behind on another demo, and then peel this off, and it should obviously preserve the grass as well. Okay, so I know that was a little bit jumbled, but hopefully that helps a little bit, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Thank you.